everyone. I'm John McElroy, and I'm one of your hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and we are broadcasting live and in the clear from the terminal building here at the Sebring Regional Airport during the U.S. Sport Aviation Exposition 2018, and we are flying into the future. And I have my guest today. It's James Wiebe with Belite Aircraft. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you with us, and I can't wait to hear about your aircraft, the Chipper, and we're going to talk about that and some instrumentation, and I want to educate everybody on the breakthrough that you've had over the past year. It's just been an incredible ride, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. We've had a lot of fun. I was at this show a year ago, and at that time I brought just samples of honeycomb aluminum along with pictures of engineering designs, and we had a good solid design in my head for a two-seat aircraft that was based on feedback that people had given me over the last 8 or 9 years building ultralights.
Wow, great. And so you've just gotten the, well, when did the certification come through? You built it in how many days?
Yeah, well, we went from a clean sheet of paper up until an experimental airworthiness certificate, and we did that, I think it was in 89 days. So from like January 1 to the end of March.
You know, 3 months later, you could be into one of the chippers and flying certified experimental kit that you built yourself. I mean, it's that easy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We've designed the kit to be easy to build. We've designed it to use what I think are really a huge collection of breakthrough features. We've designed it also to be economical for people. We wanted to give them extraordinary performance, something that would clearly differentiate, break away from the pack, be disruptive in the marketplace.
And you did that with some unconventional construction techniques. So you've got honeycomb structures. I've even seen pictures of the frame without, just tubing in the empennage. So that was kind of a neat picture that I was looking at. But tell me a little bit about the construction and the materials that you're referring to.
Sure. The materials that we used is primarily honeycomb aluminum. It comes in we use 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch thicknesses. You pick it up, it feels like it's so bizarre. You pick it up, it's like lifting a feather.
Is it Hexcel?
It is using a hexagonal interior honeycomb aluminum core.
Right.
Yes.
I'm familiar.
Yep, and it's all bonded together.
And it is extremely lightweight, but very strong and very precision flat over a thousandths of an inch over, a thousandths parallel over a square inch. So, precision machining.
Yeah, you can do crazy fun, strong things with it.
Can.
Like take a piece, put it between 2 cement blocks, stand on it. Your head says this should break, but you can see it's barely bending where you stand on it.
Well, tell me about the construction of the airplane with this
Sure.
type of material.
We use the honeycomb aluminum to build the entire cabin of the fuselage. We use it to build the formers that go into the rear fuselage. We use it as basically cut out planks to build the entire horizontal and vertical tail feathers. So when you receive them in the airplane, they're already cut out to final shape. Obviously no welding. They look like what they're supposed to be when you get them.
Excellent.
We also use them in the wings. All of the wing ribs are constructed from honeycomb aluminum. So you pick up a rib and it weighs under 10 ounces, and yet you can hang it on the edge of a bench and hang over. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
really strong.
That. And for those of you who are contemplating building an airplane, the strength of these new modern construction materials that you're referring to is just off the charts, and you're able to get, like you said, high performance. And I like what you've done with it. So you've got this very lightweight airplane. What kind of an empty weight are we looking at? What did it turn in?
Well, I think my first plane is a little heavy, but I'm still proud of it.
Heavy at what?
Heavy at 625 pounds with Tundra tires.
Can you believe it? So, and I bet it performs like a homesick angel.
It does. I don't know. You probably haven't had a chance to see me flying outside. I was out flying earlier today.
And having fun here.
Yep, that's okay. I had a fun little video that I posted where I was climbing into a nice breeze, and over the course of my home runway, I climbed 4,000 vertical feet before I hit the next mile road.
Before the departure end of the runway. How about that? So
it was just so much fun to do that. I caught it on camera, and I've done all kinds of demonstrations with it, but the VX angle when I give rides to people, their eyes pop out every time.
Well, for those of you learning to fly, VX is that magic number that gets you that kind of performance. And, you know, up front, there's an engine that helps along with that excess thrust. So tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. We decided to go with the tried and true, the very popular Rotax 912 UL. I emphasize UL. That's the 80 horsepower small variant. We also are looking forward to our first install with the ULS, the 100 horsepower. But everything that I've done with the plane to date, I've demonstrated it all with the smaller engine. And, you know, a little boastful, but unlike the competition, we're able to get these numbers with the smaller engine running autogas, MoGas 87 octane. So we can operate the plane for 4 gallons an hour times 2.5 gallons an hour. Very cheap.
There's nothing like having that magical 4-stroke up front and pushing that kind of power with those kind of weights. And at the mid 600s on empty weight, that is quite a lot of power. So no wonder you're, you know, having everybody jaw on the floor with those kind of numbers. Give me an example of an initial rate of climb with, you know, full up max gross weight.
Full up max gross weight, sea level, we advertise 800, but we've seen numbers higher than that.
Oh, certainly, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
How about the performance with flying it and the handling? You talked about the slow flight when we were off camera. What kind of slow flight characteristics are you referring to?
Okay. There's a couple of things that are fun to explain related to the slow flight. The first is that we have independent flaperons and flaps,
How about
which
that?
means that we get the entire span of the entire wing to droop into a high lift configuration.
So it's a Fowler flap type style?
It is a Fowler main flap, and then it's just a droop intermixed aileron. What that means is we hit the switch, the ailerons, both sides come down about 15 degrees,
So they
and then you can dial in up to 40 degrees on the Fowler.
Wow.
And another thing for the experienced pilot, maybe not for the guy who hasn't flown before, but the cool thing is you dial in the aileron flaps, and the plane pitches down. You dial in the Fowler flaps, the plane pitches up. You get them both dialed in to max CL, and you're back to neutral pitch. Very low stick forces at this very high alpha.
Well, for those of you who don't know what he just said, it means that when your butt is in the seat and your hand's on the stick, it feels like there's no trouble. It's very easy to fly. That's what he's getting at, is that this kind of performance has been dialed in from an aerodynamic standpoint to give you a really simple, easy, fun aircraft to fly. It sounds like I can't wait to try it.
Let's a little bit more on that. So then you can go back into, you're in the slow flight mode, throttle back, and you can just mosey around the sky, and you make all your turns, and the plane feels just as gentle, as solid as when you're going cruise fast.
Now,
it's amazing.
That was a technical term again, moseying. Yeah. Well, you know, to me, it just equals fun.
It is. It's fun. It's also equals safety. It's a very difficult plane to stall. Through the first 100 and so hours of operation, I never ever was able to achieve a true stall in the plane. I pull it back all the way, plane starts to shake, you get the buffet, and then it would start to brake, and you could still, with full back stick, control left and right, even as it was entering the stall mode and staying there. Yeah, really bizarre.
We call that mush as opposed to mosey, but you know, when safety features like that are, you know, how much confidence that gives you as a pilot, it just really makes it feel like you're completely under control.
And what it means then is that when you're flying around the pattern, coming in, usually base to final is where guys run into trouble.
Sure.
You get lots of feedback that you're wobbly when you get down to those extreme low speeds, and then you're still safe because it's not breaking away from you and going into a stall.
Are you having fun flying around Central Florida with those Tundra tires? And have you been into some spots around town?
I wish I could say I have, but I haven't had a chance to do anything off concrete. I would love to. I was looking when I was flying this morning and said, what would they think if I landed in the grass on the side of the runway?
Now, the grass he's referring to is about a 4,000-acre sod farm that's just west of the field. So you talk about one of the nicest runways that are available. That would be it. So yeah, try it out.
Okay.
You know, that's what we. Not that I know anything about that.
No, I think you do. But no, it's just it's fun to land. The landing gear as well. I didn't talk about those. There's a really interesting feature. We machine them out of solid bar stock, technically 7000 series aluminum, which is as strong as steel.
Very strong, you bet.
Yeah, and I had great engineering design assistance on those. We've designed them so that they work with the plane. They're what people call a Whitman Gear, which is used on the popular RVs and a lot of other stuff too. But they're great gear, very simple.
Simple design and very strong, that's right.
Yeah.
And, that you'll learn about that when you're building your own, and you can certainly get that information from your website, and that's at?
The website is, there's several, but the most important one would be simply chipper.aero, A-E-R-O. Chipper, like a wood chipper, chipper.aero.
All right, some of those new top-level domain names we're seeing out in the...
I like using Aero.
Aero, you bet. That's always... so we'll introduce that to the folks, and so they can reach you there. And I know you've got another little trick up your sleeve, and that is in the form of an application.
Yes, I have my cell phone here sitting on my lap.
Wow.
But and that's because we are now starting to develop and ship and let people buy and download applications for aviation through Apple's App Store. And the first one that we've done, I was aware that Apple had built in a very high precision barometric pressure sensor into every iPhone from the 6 up. So with that as background, we took to developing an application that would basically recreate a conventional aircraft altimeter and a conventional aircraft VSI on a cell phone. And then we added in another half a dozen or so functions that you can't get on a normal altimeter. It tells you what your standard temperature is. That's interesting. It tells you your pressure altitude, which is very useful. If you hook up an external temperature sensor, it'll give you your temperature. It'll give you your calculated to the second density altitude, which is a useful safety factor, including the humidity part of it.
That's great.
It also gives you your horsepower ratio, and you learn stuff from doing that. Then it gives you of course, your vertical speed, and it's fun to use. You don't have to have GPS. You can, it doesn't use GPS.
Well, I know when you build an airplane, you start to go down those sorts of avenues of learning about things like that. And so to understand corrected altimetry, using those values, you begin to appreciate the performance that you're getting after you've built an airplane like that. You know what your engine's doing, you know what the wing can provide, sort of the margins that are available to you to get into or out of a particular situation. It just brings your awareness as a pilot, so that's very exciting.
Yeah, a safety feature. If something's not going right, it helps provide you with a data point that you can look at in your head and say, this should not be working the way it is working right now.
Or I need to be on this side of the edge.
Yes.
As opposed to that side of the edge.
Yeah. I like the learning side of it too. Since it's an app that you can use anywhere, if I was a student pilot wannabe, what I would want to do is take this app, fire it up in the car, put it on a mount, use it like GPS, but it's so sensitive that when you're going around the city, going up and down hills, it's instantaneous. You can say, I'm climbing. This is what a 200 feet per minute climb feels like in a car, in an airplane.
Fantastic.
And it's just fun to play with.
What kind of external unit are you talking about attaching to your phone? What was that all about?
Sure. The base pressure sensor will give you 3 or 4 things. It gives you altitude, VSI, standard temperature, straight out of the box. Every iPhone 6 up has them. But if you add on a Bluetooth sensor, which costs $29, we don't make them. Texas Instruments make them.
Very common. Arduino boards, if anybody knows what those are.
Yeah, $29. It adds, it's a little red box. It runs off of a coin cell for up to a year. It adds humidity, temperature, and a secondary pressure sensor as well. And that gives you density, altitude, horsepower calculation, all of the additional functions.
That's great. Well, it sounds like a fun project, and I know you're proud of working on that, and you can check that out on the App Store, huh?
Yeah, you can. It's on the App Store, and ironically, the easiest way to find it on the App Store is to get on the App Store from your device and search my name, because I'm listed as the developer, James Wiebe, Whiskey, India, Echo, Bravo, Echo, and it'll pop right up.
All right. I can't wait to download that myself. I'm certainly going to become a fan. As a little junior programmer, I appreciate where you've gone with that whole thing, so I understand what you mean and what you're trying to deliver. And as a learning tool, you guys should check that out. So don't miss it. That's going to be a lot of fun. Certainly an important accessory to your new Belite aircraft, the chipper.
Thank
right?
you. Yes,
You
that's
bet.
correct.
Well, how about the configuration? Can you do tricycle gear, or is it tail wheel?
No, we can do tricycle gear. The tricycle gear is a bolt-on. It'll go into the, obviously the conventional configuration there, and then the nose wheel is bolt-on as well. So you can slip back and forth between the configurations.
Wow, so you can really just feel whatever you feel like doing during the day, huh?
Yeah.
And go back and forth.
I wish it was that easy.
Oh, well,
It'd take a few hours to bolt them on, bolt them off, and move them back and forth.
It's a day of having fun anyway.
Yeah. If I was in tricycle gear configuration, it gets set up to just be an ideal trainer aircraft for people. Just ideal.
Great. So you could, take up your friends and just say, here, try this out. And, you're not really giving any flight training, but, you're having fun and showing them a good time.
Yeah. You can legally use it for flight training as long as the instructor does not charge. I realize that's a rare scenario, but that's the one scenario under which you can use experimental aircraft to do logged instruction.
Hey, my grandfather let me run around in the farm field, in the old Ford. So I get it. That's how I learned to drive. It's not really how we learn to fly, but showing people what it's like is not something you can do. That's a lot of fun, is introducing people. So and that's what you're doing. You took an airplane idea a year ago, and you made it into the real thing in 90 days, and here you are. How many orders do you have for the chipper now?
Firm orders, around 20 to 25 firm orders, and I'm sorry I don't have the exact count, but of those, we've already shipped about 10. We're shipping around 2.5 units per month right now.
Wow, exciting. Where are you based?
Wichita, Kansas, the air capital of the world.
Ground zero. I was just in Wichita 2 weeks ago, and there's nothing like looking down at all those grass fields that you can drop into around ICT there with all the aviation that's going on.
We're on the other side of town. We're out at the glider port out in the country. It's ideal for the kind of stuff we do. Fields in all directions. If ever I have a need, I can drop in on any of those fields and land, and I've done it both for fun and way back in the old ultralight days, I've done it because I had to too.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you understand that.
I do. I've been there, done that as well. So I just love being in that area because you've got so many resources available to you.
We do.
With, people who are interested in a lot of fields and things like that. We have a similar scene here in Central Florida, and we're enjoying the Sebring U.S. Sport Expo here to introduce all the friends and family to it. So, you can come down and check that out. Where are you on the field?
Booth number. You know what? I think I'm 102, but I'm just on the other side of the commercial tent.
So you literally come into the terminal building, come say hi to us, and watch our production that's going on right here. As you walk past, you can wave, see us interviewing our guests live and broadcasting that in the clear. Go on through those double doors and then out onto the flight line and begin to make your way towards your booth. And then
turn left, head north, and there we are.
Head north, and you're over there. I understand. So you're going to be flying later on today?
I hope to. We got our winds up. And so what I did is I flew earlier this morning already, and then hopefully it'll die down as we get closer to it. We got a direct, strong crosswind.
What did the app tell you? Anything?
I'm sorry?
Did you use the app to...
No. Okay. You got me.
It's all right. I just wondered if you had, that extra little bit of info for us geeks out there. So strong cross, huh?
We have a strong cross. It'll die down later, and it's going to die down some more tomorrow.
I think knowing what I know about the Central Florida weather, it'll be about 2 o'clock. You should be able to start seeing the wind die down.
That'd be cool.
It'll be an evening glass off for those of you who are interested in coming out to fly.
Oh, yeah.
And and then, by the way, did you know there's a sod field just west of here?
No, I didn't.
I'm just saying. Tundra tire test field. That's what I call
like
that.
it. Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Well, what else would you like to share with our viewers out there?
Oh, a couple of things. There's a couple nuances on the plane that I think people would find very interesting. The first is that although the fuselage is metal skin, the wing is fabric covered. And for this prototype that we have here, we chose a German product called Oratex. Oratex is unbelievable because the color's baked right into the factory.
Oh, neat.
And so you get it, you glue it on, you shrink it, you're done. It's like a big model airplane.
What kind of material is it?
Oratex. Yep.
And that's the brand name of it.
That is the brand name.
Is it a polyester, or is it a cotton? Do you know which kind?
We don't know. If you look at it closely, I'm thinking that it's some sort it's a plastic infused into some sort of weird Dacron, but it's super thin, super light, 10-year exposure warranty.
How about that?
And I like it. The second thing is that along with that Rotax engine, I've got a Deuce propeller on the front. Duke, I think, is the way that they pronounce it. I call it Duck. I think they don't like that. So Duke propeller. Those guys are here as well, and I've gotten good performance out of their 3-blade prop. So that's been fun to do.
Which did you like better, the 2 or the 3? Did you see one?
I've not put a 2-blade on chipper. In the past, I've always gotten my best thrust and performance out of 2-blade, large diameter props.
Right.
So in the future, when I do a little horsepower upgrade, at some point we'll increase the diameter of the prop. In order to keep ground clearance, we're going to stay with the 3-blade prop, but I'd love to go to a honking big 2-blade.
Well, the technology out there, with experimenting like you're doing with the different designs and materials, I think you might find something out here at the expo with some of these vendors out here.
I know.
Are you seeing what's whetting your appetite?
Oh, there's all kinds of interesting stuff around the show. Start with the Duke prop. I got to see their ground adjust variable. Talk to them about their in-flight adjustable.
Constant speed on a small experimental like that, unbelievable.
Yeah, and so that's really a juicy, tempting little thing. What that means is huge quick takeoffs combined with dialing it back for efficient cruise flight. You know that. Sensinik is here, and I've been talking to them as well. Engine vendors, I had a good talk briefly with Jan Egenfelder, I think his name is, with the Viking engine.
Sure.
That's a very attractive engine for a low price.
That would be a lot of power, for an extreme amount of power.
130 horse on mine.
Yours. Yep.
But we've got builders that have inquired about that. I always enjoy watching Just products fly around as well. When I grow up, I want to be a Just Superstall. That's kind of Chipper's goal in life.
Boy, I think you're almost there. Yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it. Do you think I could talk you into flying? And maybe if we've got some time before the sun sets that we can jump in?
Absolutely. Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to some of the cows around here. Since you're from Wichita, we have summer cows.
Okay, yeah.
Because some are cows and some are not. But the area around here is probably similar to what you're used to, and so we could have a lot of fun with that. Any dreaming about putting floats and going?
Oh, thank you for asking. Not only talk and dreaming, we're currently building plugs for a set of floats to put on Chipper.
Wow, it's going to be exciting.
And I've already posted a couple of pictures of the plugs coming together. We've got glass on the foam right now. We still have topside finishing to do on the floats. We're going to be starting to make our molds in February, and I do hope to have a float down here, not mounted on the plane, but for show, a carbon fiber Kevlar float at Sun and Fun.
Wow, that would be so strong, so lightweight, and would look so good on that aircraft.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Something like 40% of our interested purchasers have indicated that they want amphibious floats on their plane.
Well, certainly down here in Central Florida, it's that's what we do. We've got so much water around, but it's also true that where you are, there are so many small lakes that you could jump into and get out of in anywhere. So that kind of performance with those kind of options, that versatility is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, I think so too. The first set are going to be straight, no wheels, and then we're going to put the amphibious gear onto them as well. I've got a partner on that, and they're going to be the highest technology float for the light sport market. We've designed them with a gross weight of 1,450 pounds, so we can cover just about anything.
Awesome.
Amphibious LSA on down.
At 1,430 for the LSA, that'll be it. Well, we're going to close this out, and I really appreciated talking with you.
It's been fun.
James Wiebe with Belite Aircraft. And this is John McElroy from the terminal building at Sebring Airport for the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo. I'm your host with the Florida Aviation Network, and we'll see you with our next guest. Thanks for watching.